So this is my transformation story as such. I've always wanted to kind of do this, but I don't know, just I haven't had the time or whatever, or just thinking no one wants to hear it. But anyway, for any of you that do want to listen to this all the way through, I'm hoping it really helps. For the people that don't, then okay, just turn it off. It's not a problem. But this is my chance to tell you about my transformation journey and how the things that I've done in my life, okay, has led me to where I am today. There are people at the start of that weight loss journey, they're at the bottom of the mountain, they're looking up, and they're thinking this is a really daunting and intimidating task. But just to tell you that this is just completely normal, and it's taking the first step, probably going to be the biggest. But I've been overweight all my teenage years, through school, and also when I signed up to the RAF. I was always that fat friend, known to be the funny guy, and I was always in the friend zone when it comes to women as well. Which I can be honest, I can say I wasn't attractive growing up. I can be honest, and this was because of my weight. And I wouldn't tell anyone this normally, but it does really hurt. But again, it was my own doing, and it was no one else's fault. But when I was a teenager, I'd always eat the wrong things. This is how bad I was. I mean, I used to get my pocket money off my mum every week, and then with a calculator, I'd work out, because I wasn't really good at maths, I'd work out how much actual food I could actually get with my £2.50, which would go quite a long way back in the day. So I literally used to buy a pasty, and then get bread at home, and then put the pasty on them 2 slices of bread. How bad is that? And this is, like I said, it wasn't any consequence to me. It was just, it tasted great, and that's all I cared about back then. But I also remember as well, one time as well, I ate a 6-pack of Rocky bars, like in one go. And I was going to be sick, and I didn't even get to the toilet in time to be sick. I was sick all over the toilet, and I remember my mum just coming to see me, and you know that look of, I'm not angry, disappointed kind of look, and just, yeah. But I used to eat all the time to the point where I was going to be sick, and again, it was just the norm, which is just, it's obviously, as I think about it now, it's disgusting, but again, this is what I did. So this was me growing up. But my mum and dad separated as well when I was 11, and every time I remember when I used to always see my dad as well, he'd always say to me, "You look like you're putting on a bit of weight, son." And again, obviously that really hurt me, and I hated him for saying that, but he was right, and he just wanted me to be fit and healthy. That's all. So yeah, when I joined the RAF, for a fat lad, I was pretty fit, to be honest, because I always had a bit of a sporty background, playing football all my life and stuff like that. I used to eat far too much. I used to eat all the wrong things, and just, like I said, far too much of it. Hence the reason I was overweight. It wasn't to do anything how active I was. I was still pretty active. Every day there would always be a point where I'd be embarrassed because of my weight. So whether it be like a passing comment, I remember I used to be taking my shirt, changing my shirt in, like, when we were doing basic training, there'd be a lot of people in the room, and someone would go, "Oh, look at the tits on him," kind of thing, and just kind of, again, it's just a lad's thing, but obviously you can imagine it really, really hurts, you know what I mean? But again, they was just making a comment about how I used to look. But also as well, I used to sweat loads because I was a big lad, and like say we'd go out for marches and stuff, I'd be sweating in my uniform, and it was really, really embarrassing. And also again, if a subject had come up about just general weight, I'd just go inside myself and just be super, super embarrassed, and just make myself scared straight away as soon as any sort of subject come up of to do with weight. But also as when I used to go with my friends on holiday, I used to go with my mates. They'd be all out in the sun with their tops off, obviously just having a laugh, and I'd be sat in the shade with my top on, probably eating ice cream, because I love ice cream. But to say that I was having this fun, yeah, but nowhere near as much as they would. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that in regards to holidays and stuff, and like taking your club, being in a bikini or being in your shorts and stuff like that. I just would never do it. I just wouldn't say it. I'd put it down to like getting sunburned and stuff like that, which is a load of bullshit, to be honest. I was just embarrassed. But when it got to the point when all this stuff, I'd just keep it to myself, and I wouldn't just tell anyone. I was just too embarrassed. I mean, to say I could have talked to people, of course I could, but again, like a lot of us, like, we just want to keep it to ourselves, and that's all I did. But I then had that moment of clarity, and whether some of you can relate to this, where you just get that moment, and it's a big point in your life to say, right, And for me, it was I was trying on different t-shirts. I remember I was getting ready for a night out, and I was trying on different t-shirts. And obviously going from the point of obviously nothing just sitting well on my body, and also to the point where changing shirts, I was seeing myself like topless. And I just remember I just broke down into tears. I don't, like I said, and it was just through the sheer embarrassment and just hatred to my body of what I'd done to myself, and I just knew enough was enough, and I had to change. I didn't know how I was going to go about it, but I just had enough of being that fat lad. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to go on holiday. I wanted to take my top off. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I wanted to be attracted to women. I just wanted to be proud of myself. I'm sorry, but anyone that like is overweight and stuff like that, to say that you're, of course, maybe you're proud of your achievements in regards to whatever, family and life, but you're not proud of yourself in regards to your body. And this is something I always wanted, but I've never really thought about like doing, and then that was it. That was that moment. So like I said, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do, but I had goals and I wanted to get to them. And I knew I just had to change my habits and my lifestyle. So first of all I did was I just cut down whether it was good or bad food. I just cut that down by half and just start being more active. Like I said, I was generally active, but I remember I used to go to circuit classes that the RAF at the time. I was 22 at the time, and the RAF used to put on circuits every lunchtime. And I used to go to them every lunch and just work as hard as I could. Like I said, I'd just eat a lot less. And then from there as well, I also joined the RAF boxing team on the base as well. So started going to that as well. So this was my starting point. This is where it was all going to start. And no real nutrition knowledge, not really exercise knowledge. I just worked my arse off for initially. I seen in the first 4 months, I lost. I didn't lose loads. First 4 months, I lost about a stone in the first 4 months. First 4 months, which is, it's not drastic, but it's good. I mean, it's okay. The thing is, when you first start out, you want to see progress quick in order to keep you motivated. But to me, I had the mental mindset of just, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. It's as simple as that. Some people maybe not have that as much, but if you get success quick, it's only going to motivate you to do it more. So I had to make sure that I'm doing things as best I could. I didn't know whether I was doing things right or not. I just had to just put as much effort in as I could. But as I know now, because I was cutting down on my food and I was being really active, I was just putting myself in a calorie deficit. But at the time, I didn't know about all the calories and deficit and all things like that. But as I know now, that's what I was doing. So I was just making better food choices, but all the training I was doing was only through cardio. I wasn't doing any sort of weight training. And when I say weight training, like I said, I mean actually like lifting weights. I do circuits and stuff like slamming a ball and press ups and stuff like that, but always it was just do it as quick as you can and do it as fast as you can. Just get your heart rate up. That's all that matters. It's not aesthetically like pushing your muscle. So yeah, so that's why I end up becoming skinny fat. I end up losing 4.5 stone in a year and a half. And to say I was more confident, of course, but like I said, I was skinny fat. So I was happy in my clothes, but I still wasn't entirely happy in the way I was looking. But I'd made progress, and that's all. And to me, that was all that mattered. I was still like going out drinking and things like that. But what I'd do is the next day I'd just make sure I go for a run and just counteract that with anything I could with regards to exercise. But I remember my mate Chris, he took me to shout out to Chris, he took me to the weights bay on the camp, and just straight away I hated it. But because I was out of my comfort zone and I couldn't obviously do it to his ability, and also I thought at the time I have to get my heart rate up and be sweating to order it to be a good workout. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Because as I know now, that is completely wrong. But that's what I thought at the time, that's all I knew. Okay, so I remember as well though, even though I was, like I said, I was happier in my clothes and stuff, I got to the point where I'd become obsessed, and which meant I was getting on the scales like 3 times a day. And if the number had gone up, it could be the case where I just had some water, or just had some food, or not on the toilet. If it'd gone up, I'd go for a run and just beast myself. Which so then, as much as like my physical health was getting better, my mental health wasn't there. I was obsessed. I wasn't entirely happy, which is again probably a lot of people can relate to, because they might be looking aesthetically in shape and they might be healthy from the outside, from appearance inside, but then not mentally healthy up here, which is sometimes can be the most important. So from there, I started when I was about 22, and over this process, it's been about 4 years to this point now. So I was 26, and this was when I decided that I wanted to leave the RAF and become a personal trainer. As much as to say I was ready to be, I wanted to be a personal trainer. To say I was ready to be a personal trainer, I mean, I know that a lot of aspect of it is to learn on the job, but I just knew, all I knew was I'd made a massive change in my life, and I wanted to do that for others, as much as that cheesy it sounds, and that's the be all and end all of it, and I wanted to make a career of it. So I did my personal training course with a company called Premier in Manchester, and in that time I was living at home. I got a leave from the RAF for 7 weeks. I was a bit weird, like I was 18 when I left home, and then living with my mum at 26. It's a bit weird, but it worked. I wasn't in the house much, so it was okay. But alongside this, the training course I was doing, I did a home workout called P90X, for any of you who've heard of it. A bit like Insanity, but this is more for an introduction to weights. All you needed was some dumbbells. I had these adjustable dumbbells and a pull-up bar, and that's all you needed. And it was a 90-day regime, which was training 6 times a week, and also with nutrition as well with that. And I seen really, really good success with it. Hence the reason I carried on with it. But I stuck with it for 60 days. I stuck with it for 60 days. And at that time, because you do the same workout for 30 days, then you change it, and then you've got to go back to the other one. And at that point, it was a bit too much. I got a bit bored. But in that time, I got qualified as a personal trainer. And then I had to go back to the RAF and finish off my time there, which was another 6 months, which then led me to starting at Pure Gym at Bitton, Southampton, in January 2012. So, all fresh-faced, scared, keen to learn. My bosses, Guy and Paul, they were amazing to me when I first started. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Self-employed, trying to pay for a rent and my car, and living off my savings. But they were amazing to me, and they really, really helped when I first started. The niche that I had when I come to first starting, because everyone's got their own niche, everyone's, like I said, good at certain things and stuff. That's what makes us all individual. But I was very fit. I was always super fit, and when Guy introduced me to CrossFit, it was perfect for me, because it was lifting weights as well as working to excess. I'd always want to get my heart rate up. I always wanted to kill myself as much as I can. I still love that element of it now. I still would say it's my favourite, but that was something I only kind of wanted to do. That was one thing I wanted to do. So CrossFit was perfect for me. But to say I did it properly, probably not. I used to overtrain to excess. Every single day I would push myself far too much and not give myself any rest. And I also thought as well it was the best way to get in the best physical shape aesthetically as well, which again, understand that there's lots of different ways of weight training to get you in the best possible shape. But again, narrow-minded, naive, and not knowing, I thought that was the best way. But I used to always chase excellence in my appearance, because I was a little bit younger, and obviously going from a fat guy to skinny to just basically wanting to be in the best shape I could possible. It's not well, obviously of course an element of vanities into it, but I just did, and I'd hurt myself in essence to get to that point where I looked my best, where I know now more about training smart instead of training hard. I always train hard, but I also train smart. But I would say I wouldn't feed myself with enough food as well for the amount of energy I was using up as well. So that was another thing as well. I was also depriving myself of enough food, where again, that's something I've learned over time. But to my credit, I would say I was always open-minded and willing to learn. Anyone that ever said anything to me, I'd always take it on board, and I'd always want to develop, and because there was always people that obviously I was new. I wanted to learn more. I would never be narrow-minded, and just, even if again I didn't believe in it, I'd always take it on board, and then whether I'd use it or not, that'd be my choice. But I'd never, like some people, like I said, that I've seen in the commercial gyms, they just think they know it all, and just, to me, they never get anywhere, to be honest. But then it comes to the point I decided to do my first photo shoot, a big point in my life. To say it was a success, as I look back now, it probably wasn't, but also it was a massive point in my life, and I'm glad. I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it. And again, it was something that it was a big point. And then it was then I really started to get into like bodybuilding and strength training from there. Because from seeing what I looked like on the photo shoot, I realised that I wanted to develop my body more. And I was really happy. I started to really get into like bodybuilding training, strength training, especially because again, my appearance started to change more, and I started to see my numbers going up on my weights. I started to really enjoy it. So, which again motivated me to do it more. So, this and this was again about 3 years ago, and since then, I know, whereas back then, I'd obviously got myself to a point where I was healthy, I wasn't mentally healthy. I'm there. I'm completely there. I know exactly what my body can take on board. I know when to indulge, when to not indulge, when to diet, when I want to go on holiday. I know how to cut things. I know how to get in shape for a photo shoot. I know how to go in shape to get on holiday. I know how to get myself physically in shape for an event. So since I started as a PT, I've done a boxing match for charity. I've got to say I won as well. I've got to get that in there, haven't I? I've done 4 photo shoots since. I've done a burn 11,000 calorie challenge for charity I did last year. A big part of my life, hardest thing I've ever done. And I've done several obstacle courses, competed in CrossFit, and I've worked at 2 commercial gyms and now at a private personal training facility. And this is over the span of over 5 years. And to say that I've still got lots and lots of goals that I want to achieve, and I always want to strive to do more. I always will, but always never forget how to look back and how far you've come, and to say how proud and what I've done in my life and what I've achieved. And it's all down to health and fitness. It's all down to that. I can't say to people enough, like, to say that you're completely happy in yourself. I mean, where I am today, when it comes down to, I look in the mirror and I'm so proud. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got a successful business and a beautiful wife to be, all that sort of thing, which is great. And I think, like I said, that's come from health and fitness. But, okay, any amount of money that you've got, whatever car you're driving, whatever clothes you're wearing, to me, to be ultimately happy, and all I think is to be proud in your body and to be healthy. Okay, that's the thing. Not just look healthy, be healthy. A lot of people are like unhealthy and they're pushing themselves and they're not. Like I said, mind and health and your body, it all comes as one. But to look at yourself naked and say, look how happy you are, I'd say that's a really, really a powerful thing. So this is what I'm trying to achieve at everyone every single day in my job, and this is what I want to give back to everyone, in order to broaden their knowledge and empower them with that ability to be in the best shape of their life and to be happy, and really, really ultimately be happy. So if you're at the bottom of this mountain and you don't know where to start, I know people don't want to invest and they don't want to like pay money out. They want to do things on their own, which I totally understand. I did it all on my own, but I tell you what, I would have cut my journey down by many years if I'd have sought help back when I first started when I was 22. But hey ho. But you got to think could be the biggest investment of your life, and this is your own body. This is your own health. Okay. It's all well and good now we're quite younger, like I said, 20, 30, 40. Wait till you get on. You'd have wished you did it. Like I said, you'd have wished you'd have looked after yourself more and invested more. And more importantly, like I said, live your life happy. Like I said, if you get to the point where going for your 20s and 30s and you're not happy in the way you look, it's pretty sad to think about it, and if you think about it like that. But to say, this is just obviously a video to say, purely to help people understand that we all make mistakes. I've made every single mistake going, but it's the mistakes that I've made, it's made it where I learn from that and grow and make me a better person. And also, like I said, that's how we get better, isn't it? By making a mistake. We can't all be perfect. No one's perfect. But thank you so much for the people that have watched this till the end. I hope it has helped. Just to say, it's not like any sort of in-depth knowledge or anything like that, but just to say, you can change. You don't have to live your life unhappy, and if you aren't, you really need to think about what you're going to do. But stop feeling so guilty, stop feeling sad, and start feeling amazing and proud of yourself. And all I can say is just keep defying the normal, okay? But love to you all. Take care.